Hey guys, Robert Trawick here. Thank you guys so much for joining me another week on this channel and this particular playlist where we talk about photo truths, or at least the photo truths the way that I see them. And I really hope that these videos inspire you to get out and do more, as well as encourage conversation with other photographers. So today's topic, as you probably got from the clickbait, was never ever shoot for free. Now I'm sure a lot of you will probably agree with me that shooting for free is an absolutely bad thing to do. But I want to take this one step further and say that just because you don't get paid in money doesn't mean that you don't get paid in other ways. In fact, if you're a brand new photographer starting out, I promise you that the only way to get better is experience, time, practice. Those three things are going to take you to the next level. Now, if you're only picking up your camera on the weekend, once a month, and taking a couple of photos and spending all your time editing those photos and trying to make them better, it's going to take you a lot longer than the person that goes out and practices the craft every single day. So while I will encourage you not to shoot for free, when I say free, it's a thing of value. If you can find value in the exchange, then you're not shooting for free. I do a lot of work with my sponsors in exchange for equipment. So does that mean I'm working for free? No. That means that we've come up with a mutual agreement value that we're willing to trade my time, my experience, and my knowledge for possibly some of their gear, use of their social media, or whatever the case may be. But I really want this video to target the people that are just starting, that are becoming frustrated that they're not progressing as fast as the other person on social media that they're following. First thing to do is to quit comparing yourself to everybody else. Everyone is a unique individual with different experiences, abilities, and talents, and everyone is going to progress at their own rate and at their own pace. With that, basically means that you're not going to get better if you don't practice. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes better. More practice makes better quicker. So when you go out and find a friend or a coworker or even a stranger that you just met on the street, and you exchange your time and talent to practice, and you give them some images to use on their social media or maybe some prints, you're not shooting for free. There's a value exchange that is happening, and the most valuable thing that you can get, I promise you, is not money. It's experience and practice, so that the more you shoot with this, the less important this becomes. You're going to get to a point in your shooting that the camera disappears from the interaction and the relationship that you're having with your client or your friend or your family member. And in that moment, in that beautiful moment, for me, you will experience the photographer's high. Like runner's high, but with photography involved. And it's amazing. And part of that, most of that, has to do with your ability to operate the controls on your camera seamlessly, without thinking, knowing exactly where your fingers go to change your shutter speed, to be able to change your ISO, to change your exposure compensation. What program you have set in the camera that allows you to use different buttons for different functions, making the camera a personal extension of yourself so that ultimately the camera disappears and doesn't become an element of hindrance. Dorothy Lang, which is one person that I highly respect, I did a lot of studies on her work in photojournalism school. One thing she said that really was amazing to me was that the camera will allow you to see without a camera. And that's very true. So I encourage you to go out and practice your craft. You're not going to get better if you don't practice. Find people to photograph. Find mountains to photograph. If you can't find the mountains because there really isn't any mountains in Oklahoma, find a molehill. Find a small hill. Find whatever it is to take photos. Those photos don't have to be for public consumption. They just have to be you practicing your craft and getting better. Don't give up. Because right at the moment when you feel that all is lost, that you're never going to understand photography, that you're never going to get the inverse square law of light, that you might not understand the exposure triangle, if you just push a little bit harder, if you just wait a little longer, if you just practice a little more, it'll happen. And when it happens, you're going to reach that next plateau. And you're going to stay there for a little bit because you're in your comfort zone. Then you're going to push yourself and you can go to the next level and the next. But that will not happen overnight. And it will not happen without you doing the work. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me. So by all means, go out, tell a story, practice your craft, practice with your camera. Never shoot for free. Always find the value in that exchange. And that value is personal. It's your gift. It's your talent. You determine the value. And as long as the trade is fair, you really didn't work for free. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Wanted to do a shout out real quick to Bedford Camera and Video, Oklahoma City. We have PhotoCon coming up. I'll leave a link down below in the video. This is going to be an epic 10-year PhotoCon convention in Oklahoma City, the first weekend in November. I would love to see you guys out there, and I'll put a link down there how you can save $30 on your 2-day all-access pass. So join me next week where we're going to bust the whole thing that everybody talks about, the exposure triangle, because that is not true. The exposure triangle, it's not a triangle. And we'll talk about that next week. We'll see you guys later. So get out, grab that camera, practice your craft, tell a story, and go take some photos. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.